But so we are live, dude. I
All
want to thank you very much,
Yeah, man.
Truth, for taking the time to come on here and entertain my podcast. I mean, for anyone that obviously already knows you, like I was saying off air, like I found that the quality of your stuff is like another level up again, and obviously the fact that you got back to me and like was like, yeah, I'll jump on your podcast and talk to you about bikes and stuff. I thought, wow. But
Yeah, man.
so let's take it back before any of the podcasts and the bike shop, where I always like to kind of get back to like where the infection of bikes started for you,
Yeah. Well, so it's funny because the story I got is like the story that I've heard so many dudes say, and it sounds stereotypical. Um, but it's true. Like I was a kid, and me and my father were driving. I was a kid. I was a passenger, and I saw a bunch of dudes on choppers. Like this is late '70s, like whipping by. They had colors. It was a local club. It was called the Lynchman, and I was like, "Oh man, that's fucking cool, right?" Later in life, uh, I grew up like somewhere in my 20s. I was like, got into bikes, and I never like in my head what I wanted was what I saw back then. But I didn't know enough about motorcycles yet to know what that was. And I was like, no, I want one of the bikes with like the tank's high and comes up where it's like almost in front of your face and you're like this. And I'm looking at bikes. I'm like, none of these bikes are like that. And my boy Jay, who my father used to ride BSAs and stuff when I was a kid, but just stalkers. But my buddy Jay, who I knew from the punk rock and hardcore scene, we were in bands and stuff like that. He bought his father's old chopper that his father had built in the 70s. He's like, no, that's a chopper. And I was like, oh shit, all right, cool. Because I didn't know, I was green, I was a kid, and so he bought his father's bike. It was in pieces. His uncle had it in the attic or something. He was putting that back together, and I was like, all right, fuck. So then, right away, I'd bought like a little Japanese bike to learn on, like a Suzuki or something. Had that for like 2 months, and then bought a Triumph chopper off a guy. But it was like one of those ones where like the dude like put like Fat Bob tanks on it and like dumb shit. Like it was like,
Yeah.
oh, this being a big twin, it's a Triumph, right? So I took those off. I put a coffin tank on it. Had a big long 12 over square Springer. It needed work. I didn't really know what I was doing. Brought it over. Jay needed stuff done on his bike. I needed stuff done on my bike. We both brought him to this guy Hutch in just outside of Boston. He's a legend out here. Been building choppers and stuff since the '60s. And
Wow.
So we brought the bikes to him. I had him do a bunch of work. Jay had him rebuild the transmission for his bike and whatnot because it was a pre-unit. And we got the bills, and we're like, fuck, man, because we were poor kids, right? So it was like, fuck, we got to learn how to do this shit. But by then, the bug kicked in, and since I bought that bike as already a chopper and only did minor shit to it, like change the tank and dumb shit like that, I was like, oh shit, no, and I ended up meeting these older guys, Ken and Jerry. Rest in peace to Jerry. And because at that time I was still living in Dorchester, South Boston. They were old biker dudes, and they had a garage, and they let me go in with their garage. And I was like, shit, I got to build one because that's the proper way to do it. Like, you got to build your bike.
Yeah, you got to proper cut your teeth on it,
man. Yeah. So then I built and so that other bike, I had it for like a year or two, and it was awesome, right? But it was like a 12 over Springer. Like Boston's a proper city, metro city. You're on the highway around it. I'm not a small dude, and I'm on this Triumph chopper, like 650, and it's got a Springer. The geometry's off and shit. It was built in the 70s. It was all fucked up. And, I'm like going around corners like at 80 miles an hour on the highway. The spring is bouncing. I'm all over the fucking place. Every time I was riding it, it was like white knuckle, like, just let me make it fucking home. Just let me not fucking die. But it was an addiction. And I didn't know any better because it was literally, like my first chopper. I was like, this is how shit is, right? And so the next one I built, and that ended up being featured in the horse. My bike and Jay's bike both got in the horse magazine when that was still like a big thing years ago, and it was cool. But then hanging with Jerry and Ken, and seeing Jay had put his father's bike back together, I was like, all right, I got to build one. So I built one, but it was another Triumph chopper, but I wanted it to retain the elements of it that made it a Triumph. So I kept the Triumph tank, kept the stock front end, but hardtailed it. Went through and did all the stuff, hardtail 8s and stuff like that. It was way more of a rideable bike for the city,
When roughly, like what year, like era was this when you built this? Because obviously first of all, the reason I asked is because that style is massive right now in it. It's at the moment people are are going out hunting for original Triumph tanks just to then cut the back end down to make them like, I don't know, for me, maybe I'd call it like a club style. I don't know if that's a right way to call it, but
99, dude. This was like 1999.
Right.
99, 2000. And and so then it was just had the bug, and then so I was like, Jay had his father's bike, I had mine. We didn't have a lot of money, but back then Triumphs were cheap. You could buy like a running bike for like $800. You know what I mean?
Wow.
$1,000. Because we're on the East Coast of the US, and the East Coast is where when Triumph sent them over, they sent them to Boston and New York, like to the East Coast. So I think they sold more here than they actually sold in England. So
do you know that there's a lot of English guys that over here that have like on social media, they put how they got the bike imported from America,
Yeah. Because there's more of them here. And
they're probably dry and not rotten.
Well, we're on the East Coast, so we got fucked up weather here, but usually people, I know Europe rides more year round than a lot of people out here. So a lot of the ones out here don't see winters. But so long story short was like, we could still get them. And at that point, Triumphs were like, why we got into Triumphs is they were affordable and they're cool. They're cool in their own way. It's different than a Harley. And back then they were kind of like the punk rocket chopper, because everyone wanted like a panhead or a shovel head. No one cared about the Triumphs, and that's what we could afford. And we were like, fuck yeah, man, we'll build these. These are fucking cool. And we made them cool. And not for nothing, then we built another bike. We built a bike together. We pooled our money and built a bike together. And that ended up being like the first, like my build, which I called the Chaba, that ended up in the horse as well.
That's awesome.
And that was probably like the first official kind of like chopper head bike. And then the bike me and Jay built together after that, was, again, we used a Triumph tank, Triumph elements, stock front end. That was the Slayer bike, we called it. That was our first bike we built together. And that bike's still on the road. I heard from the owner a few years ago, and that was probably 2001.
Wow.
That became the next
20 years then.
Yeah, and then after that we got like, from being in the horse when magazines still were like mattered and were a big thing, like it just generated interest, and we just started rolling, and we just started building bikes after that. We're like, and big shout out to like I said, Ken and Jerry and Don Hutchinson, and then this guy Jim Bernier, who's also deceased, rest in peace, Jim. He taught us a lot. He was a Triumph mechanic, and back then there was like dudes were like staunch purists, or they were chopper guys. But he was the guy that like he did restorations, but also liked to build a custom bike here and there. And so he took us. We used to drive a couple hours to his shop every weekend and just hang out with him. And he showed us the ropes and taught us a lot of things. He's like, I can do this for you, or I can show you how to do it. And it was like, we'll come up, and he showed us how to do it. He'd go through a motor build with us, go through a transmission build with us and stuff. And then after that, it just took off. And not for nothing, I know we're not the first to do it, but you're talking about that style of bike, like we popularized that in America in like the early 2000s, like building a Triumph chopper with a Triumph tank, making it still look like a Triumph. We made our own hardtails and stuff, and then it just took off because at that time, all those bullshit TV shows were still on, so there was a lot of people.
I was about to say, especially when Biker Build Off and
Yeah, yeah,
Motorcycle Mania, that was like at its peak, you know. So
yeah.
Harley,
Fucking
300
crazy.
rear wheels, chrome
Yeah.
everywhere. Like that was
I always laugh
that
because at that point we were building Triumphs and like traditional choppers, but dudes that were building those wide tire fucking abortions were getting like $70,000 for them. We're selling our bikes for like $8,000. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
should have just built the big tire abortions and stacked the money and like bought all the panheads and all that shit back then when you could still get them more affordably. But yeah. But long story short, like, and then it just took off, and we got so many orders for bikes. People like, oh, I want that bike. And it's like, well, it's sold, but we can build you one like it. And then we, do a different color, do some different things,
yeah.
things to make it different. But like it turned into like that was the chopperhead style bike in the early 2000s, like just like a cool Triumph chopper. But how we knew we were onto something is that first one I said we built together, the Slayer bike. We brought it to Vintage Laconia, which is at the Laconia show, and put it in the show, and it was in the British class, and it was our bike, which was a custom, and maybe like 20 restorations, and our bike took like people's choice or first place or something. So even the purist guys liked the bike because we retained enough of the Triumph elements. It appealed to the chopper guys and the purist guys. So it worked out pretty good. And then from there, that's kind of how shit started. I've always liked Harley too. I'm not a small dude. Like sometimes me on a Triumph looks pretty fucking funny. You know what I mean? Unless I have apes and forwards, like I look like a bear on a unicycle. So but yeah. So later when I had a little more cash reserves and stuff and could afford to get into Harley stuff, I got into that as well, and that's mainly what we're doing now. And because the market, like back then in the early 2000s, like you could survive just on building choppers because so many people wanted them that couldn't do it themselves because they kind of like, we call them tourists or like fair weather guys. They just saw the TV show and they're like, I gotta have one of those. And and then they're like, build me one. I'm like, okay, we'd have like 4, 5, 6 builds going on at a time. And it turned into a assembly line. Jay was building the motors, I was doing the fabrication, you know what I mean? And then we'd send it off to paint and powder coat, then we'd come back, we'd do a final assembly, but while he's building the next motor, I'm building the next chassis, and it was cool, and times aren't like that anymore, which is cool because now like most people in the choppers are like more of the do-it-yourself people.
YouTube has helped so many home builders. And like kind of obviously, like we spoke off air, like I've been lucky so far to now do 40 episodes of my podcast and get to speak to people like yourself and other people. I mean, speaking to Bare Knuckle Performance and like, obviously he has like a massive catalog of parts that they machine in house, and we kind of like both agreed, like in respect that even though people are doing the work at home, there is always parts that they need to buy from people that machine, or if they do fuck it up, they know that you guys are there to.
And we got plenty of guys that are local. Yeah, that are local that they need help with just one thing. Like, hey, can you weld this stuff on my frame? I can't weld. Yeah, bring it to me. Let's do it safe. Don't fuck around with like $50 fucking eBay fucking welder and die. I don't want anyone dying on bikes.
No.
But
no, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of people we'll meet, but what I was just saying is that the industry changed, so we're doing a lot more like service and repair work now, or installs of like new shit. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it. It's not fun. Like I like building bikes, but you got to do what you got to do to keep doing the other shit. You know what I mean? So we do 1 or 2 builds a year now instead of like fucking like a ton, and we do a ton of service work and repair work and shit like that. And we just adapted to the game to stay in it. You know, if I just was trying to survive off building choppers, like I have a fucking brick and mortar shop here. Like you can't see it, but out front's a showroom, a fucking parts counter. The back here is the shop. We got a fab area, a machine area, the service lifts. Like I'd have to work out of my garage at my house, which I think would be better a lot of times, but it is what it is, but I like having a space for people to come in, and having
Yeah,
like a
I mean
tattoo around.
that's incredible. I mean, how big roughly is your shop?
Um, it's not massive. The back is like five or 6,000 square feet.
Oh wow.
I don't know the metric
No,
conversion.
that's square feet, man. Yeah.
The
That's
front's like
still.
2,500 square feet or something. So
Mate,
it's like 8,000
I,
square feet total.
I've I mean, at the moment, I got a 10 feet by 6 feet wooden shed with a leaking roof, man.
Yeah, man.
Um, but to be honest, like I was saying earlier, like I spent so long, like I always wanted to build, like maybe do something on YouTube, and so before this, I used to work in a tattoo studio, and I love tattooing,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I own a tattoo shop as well.
oh, that's cool as
I
hell,
do laser.
man.
I
I
don't
mean,
tattoo. I do laser removal.
lasers, big scene that, especially at the moment, because I mean, even people with really good work that, I mean, this obviously, but like people are like having their whole arm lasered because they got bored of it, just to
Or they're doing that
go
dumb
and
shit where they just black it all out, and I'm
oh
like,
no,
have fun
that's
with that.
ridiculous.
Fucking-
It's
Yeah,
crazy. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, each their own. I'm not here to chat
yeah.
shit on anybody's work, but no, not for me. But for me, like what I found the tattoo industry really, 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 really cutthroat. I mean, I was lucky enough to get up to a certain. I mean, I'm self-taught, so I was I was and still am within reason. I don't know what you guys call them, but over here they call them scratchers. Self-taught
Yeah,
artists
scratches out, yeah,
learn
kitchen wizard.
learning. Yeah. So obviously, I was I learned at home, but I got to a certain standard where I was good enough to get into a studio, and obviously I really enjoyed it. But when you got a family to provide for, similar to yourself, where you got the shop and that you have to adapt, and I tried to, but I just found it too stressful for me, and I came out of it. But if you go on my tattoo page, like there was never a picture of my face. You never saw me on you know. But I just realized that you had to kind of move out of the way and let yourself. I just realized that if I want to stand a chance of being able to sit down and talk to people like yourself and things like that, because I'm not good at recording and things, and I don't have all that, I just thought, well, I got to move out of my way and just let this kind of start to move, if you know what I mean. Maybe I'm not great at explaining it, but
No,
I
you
was
just gotta
just
jump in, right? If you want to do it, you just jump in, man, and then figure it out.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, exactly, and
I see the comments popping up now. That's why I was like,
yeah, yeah,
shout
we
out
got a
to
couple.
Benjamin with his chopper that won't stop. Well, no, wait, no. I built like my chop, but didn't like it, so we started again. That choppers are never done, man. Like you probably change it 3 more times if you keep that bike.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, at the moment, I'm building a 125 bob that I've had for 10 plus years, and like I fucking cut the sides of the tank out. I'm really lucky that I got someone that's able to TIG weld it all together for me. But I got my friend lent me a MIG welder. I tacked everything in place how I wanted it, and I've been able to hand the tank over to a guy that's gonna
Yeah,
sort out my abomination.
yeah.
Because
Take
I
it,
said.
pressure test it, and fucking run it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I said to him, I said, "What are you like at plugging up holes?" And he looked at me. He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I ain't gonna lie, man. I've blown some fucking holes in this whilst I'm trying to tack weld it together."
Yeah,
You
man.
know. Um,
Absolutely.
but that's it. That's kind of that's like I said earlier. That's kind of I found my space in the scene. I think I don't claim to I don't claim to be a fabricator. I don't claim to be a know what I'm doing guy at podcasting, but I just I felt that there was a lot of people that could relate to that. And then I felt that as long as I kept it genuine, that then when I approach people like yourself that have been around a lot longer, that are doing a lot bigger things in the scene, I figured that if I kept it real, when you guys look at what I've done or what I'm doing in my podcast, you can see that I'm not claiming to be something that I'm not. And I think maybe I'm wrong in
Oh,
saying it, but I think that you guys appreciate the honesty in what I'm
oh,
trying
fuck
to
yeah,
do.
dude. I respect the shit out of that because everyone starts somewhere, and like the worst thing you can do is have a sense of entitlement or like like this is gonna sound so dumb coming from a chopper guy, right? Like, if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you can fucking die. Like, you know what I mean? So it's going through life with a little bit of humility and humbleness is going to get you a lot further and keep you safer. Like, because if you think like, oh man, I could do this for blah blah blah, and you fuck some shit up, and you're doing 90 on the road, and you're fucking motor seizes or your fucking wheel bearing seizes or something, like they're gonna be in for his fucking shitstorm. You know what I mean? But so it's always like a balance, man. Like, sorry, man, I got people pulling up to the shop. We're closed, motherfucker. Don't look, because it looked at me in here. It's Sunday, man. It's the one day we're closed. I was like, oh, it'll be safe. I literally got kids knocking on the fucking door here. All right, sorry, man. That's the other problem having a brick and mortar shop. You can't fucking hide. Like, we used to have just a fabrication shop, you know, and it was like we built the bikes. We could shut down the shop for an hour, go for a ride, fucking blah blah blah. But now I'm beholden to this fucking place. It's like a prison having like you know, a shop with a showroom and shit and parts counter, because people expect it to be open all the time, you know. But yeah, man, I know we're going in all kinds of different directions and side things, but yeah, no, like cool, I said, like, my thing in this world now is that there's all kinds of people that like want to fake shit. Like, you don't got to do that, man. Like, I got way more respect for a motherfucker just starting that's like, yo, you know how to do this, or like blah blah blah. There's still shit I don't know. Like I've been doing it fucking 2 decades. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna learn shit all the time. Like, fucking just cool it, man. Fucking chill. Like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying to not go on a fucking tirade right now because I tear into motherfuckers about this type of shit, and you know, whatever, because I'm old and cranky. But yeah, man, I got wicked respect. Like I even say here, we got customers that love their fucking motorcycles and they don't know much about it, and we help them out and fucking even doing basic services and shit, but they fucking love it. And I'm like, I wish I could be that excited about anything. And then you got these dudes that like fucking built a fucking Sportster where they bolted 3 fucking Biltwell or fucking lowbrow things on it, and they're walking around like fucking strutting around like they're the fucking thing. I'm like, bro, like,
do you know what, mate? And it's, do you know, right? And obviously, like, anyone that's followed my journey long enough know that I don't chat shit on anything, because I'm not the guy to do this. But where I'm going to head with this is, last week I went to a bike cafe in the UK, and Triumph had an official test riding event on in the car park, right? So they had a big Arctic, all the new range of bikes, and so the bike I ride at the moment is I got a 1987 ZX10 that I built. I built like a kind of like a semi Street Fighter, semi Cafe Racer.
Okay.
The back end's all Cafe Racer. The front end's got straight bars on. But just because I was really lucky, my friend gave me the bike. He gave me it once I finished nagging him because it was sat in his garden doing nothing for ages. I was like, "What are you doing with it? What are you doing with it?" And he was like, "Do you know what? Just fucking take it. You're annoying me now, you know." So anyway, so I was lucky enough to build that bike, and where I'm heading with this, right? So I'm at the car park, parked my bike up, and I hand built the whole subframe was hand built. You know, my friend lent me a welder. Obviously, I did the usual, went straight onto YouTube and videos on how to know if your heats are correct on the welding. You're looking for that discoloration around it for a good, you know, for a good pull and all that. So obviously I built this bike, and my paint job on it, I think, is fucking sick as hell. I got like all textures in the paint, and I parked right next to a Sportster, right? I know I've gone the long way around my story, but I parked next to this Sportster, and it's a 48 with a lift on the tank. And the guy hasn't even gone to the effort of hiding that horrible wiring loom where it drops out the back of the tank under the seat. He's cut the subframe off, and he's stuck on what appears to be a bit of a mudguard, right? He's got some insane pipes that are clearly being built by a company where they twist round. And people were literally looking over my bike, which is cool, but they're looking at this thing that he's literally built out of a fucking catalog. And I said to my mate, I was like, do you know what? It's a cool looking bike, but this is what's wrong. Like, I'm not expecting anyone to think, this 80s Japanese ZX10 is cooler than a Harley. I know that it's not, but it's like, the dudes just bolted that shit together, and like no one's.
Yeah, and it's like you said though, everyone starts somewhere, And
Yeah.
if that's the dude, like, and he just wants to be involved in his bike and he super loves it, cool. Like I say, there's the saying, there's an ass for every seat, right? Like,
Yeah.
I never shit on anyone's fucking bike, but I shit on
No,
people that have
exactly.
shitty attitudes. Like, it's like you
Yeah.
want to fucking walk around, dude. I've been in this for a long time. I don't even know who the fuck you are, dude. So fuck you, dude. Like, fucking relax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, but that's it. And again, like, you know, I'm not once in that story did I say that bike looked shit. It looked cool as hell.
Absolutely. No, I
But-
get you. Yeah.
But it was just like,
It's also transparent, like what's bolted on and what's a true
Yeah.
custom.
yeah, exactly.
And-
E-
But I said,
basically.
everyone starts somewhere. So I never shit on anyone's bike. I'll just shit on people. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
No, I know what you
as
mean.
long as it's
'Cause,
safe, you know what I mean? I hate when I see people selling a sketchy bike, and it's like,
Yeah.
man, you're gonna sell a bike to someone. Whoever's gonna buy this bike is probably gonna be kind of a person that doesn't really know what they're looking at, because otherwise they wouldn't be buying this fucking piece of shit. And it's like, you're gonna fucking kill this motherfucker, dude. Like, you know what I mean? That's the only time I'll like
yeah.
have something to say about a bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yo, fix this shit before you fucking sell that. You know,
Well,
that's
Well, no, exactly. I mean, and that's like when I built the subframe on my bike. I mean, the first thing I did was obviously, you know, I tried to do as much research into it as I could. So I made sure I've got obviously the ZX10 frames and alley frame, but I went to a steel subframe. So I got my nephew to machine me some adapters and I sandwiched the adapters inside the original frame, you know, and bolted it. So I used the original pickup points where Kawasaki would have originally built where they welded on the original subframe. So I haven't gone to a different area on the frame. You know, it's not a sketchy area, but I made sure that I stuck to the original designs of the frame. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Hey, I'm not trying to do this, and I'm not trying to interrupt the fucking podcast here. And that's the only part that sucks about it being live. But I got these dudes at the door. Can you just fill time for like 30 seconds?
Yeah,
Just go
yeah, no worries,
dude. I'm
no
so
worries.
sorry.
No, that's cool, man. That's cool.
Give me one.
That's cool. Obviously,
talk shit about me.
No, man. Obviously, that's the thing. Like True said, you know, he's got a proper shop. People are at the door. You know, people obviously don't think that he's allowed a day off. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously now it's moved, you can kind of get an idea. Look how cool that shop is, man. You know, you see a bit of a toolbox, some parts on the side, that sandblaster there. You know, that's cool as hell. You know, but yeah, obviously, any of you guys that have seen his podcast, you know, the Truth podcast, and been doing it a while, man. He's had some really cool people on his show, and yeah, and obviously building Triumphs as well, which is old British bikes and that, which is really cool.
All right,
he's
man.
back. He is back.
All right, yeah, but yeah, dude. So
no,
yeah.
we were just trying to get an eyeball into what you had. I could see how you got either. It looks like a sandblaster behind you and some parts.
Oh no, those are vapor hone machines. Vapor hone is like,
cool.
It's like sandblasting, but
finer
with water, yeah,
right.
with water
yeah.
and like a soda type element. We use it on like, it's really good on carburetors or like aluminum like heads and stuff like that, and cases and shit. But yeah, there's a lot of shit back here. If I was on my phone, I could give you guys a proper tour, but
that's cool, man.
I'll post something up. But yeah, you know, something I was thinking of, like what you were saying was like your impetus about your show, like kind of appealing to people that of different skill sets or different backgrounds or different levels of involvement. One thing I tried to do in the early days, and I don't know if you ever saw these, but they're on Amazon Prime, and then we also have a season of a show on Tubi. But I used to make these DVDs, and there was 4 volumes, and I started them. It went from like 2003 to 2014, where I just documented the chopper and custom scene, but it really focused on home builders. So I would do because while at the time, all those TV shows and all those, you know, a lot of the magazines were trying to profile high level builders. I was trying to focus on home builders, guys that were building in their shed or in their fucking living room or in the
man.
You know, their the extra bedroom in their 3rd floor apartment. And those would appeal to you. I only have a couple of them. Like the hard DVDs are out of stock. But if you go on Amazon Prime, and I'm not trying to promote this, I'm just
no, mate. It's good.
Might be interested in, because, and it's also, now they're time capsules, because it's showing, you look at the stuff from 2003 and then stuff from 2014. It's vastly different, right? And then after that, I did a show. It was supposed to be for Amazon, but Amazon's fucking Amazon, like whatever, dude. Like that's corporate bullshit. And so we ended up taking it to Tubi instead. And
I've never heard of Tubi. I've never heard of that.
Oh, you know why? You know what? I don't think it's in Europe. I think that's why you haven't heard of it. Tubi's is like a Hulu or like a Netflix, but it's free. But they put a couple ads on it. But it's cool because if you're into old weird shit, they got all the old 60s biker movies and the old hot rod movies. Like, but all like the old like mid 60s Roger Corman shit. They got a bunch of old weird horror and shit. But we did the season of that TV show with them, and again, it's focused on home builders, small shops, bike events, like going to different events and highlighting, you know, the events and stuff, covering it. It was set up like old skateboard videos, but like
sick,
instead of, you know, because that's what I grew up in, and what you asked me, and also what Benjamin, as I'm looking at all his comments over there, what got me the most, like my journey started in like punk rock and hardcore, and like being outside of the norm, outside of the mainstream, like living like life outside of the regular world, and that set the stage for me for Choppers, because that was the next step. Like, you know, I was into things that were loud, fast, dangerous, and like with a do-it-yourself ethic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Choppers was a natural progression from that. Like, and so like, even though I'm 50 years old, rocking a GBH shirt, you know what I mean? Like, I still rep that life, you know? And
that's cool, man.
And so that's punk and hardcore primed in metal, like primed me for Choppers, because it was the same shit. And that was the beauty of it. Like in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was like Choppers were like punk rock. Like you had to like really seek shit out. Internet wasn't big yet. There was no eBay. There was no like, couldn't order from like, you know, like lowbrow. And those are good friends of mine. Like Tyler is fucking the best ever, right?
They're
like,
killing it. They're absolutely killing it.
There was nothing like that. Like, you know, you could find small little parts to suppliers, or you had to find a shop, or you just had to find some old graybeard that was sitting on a bunch of Panhead shit, or a bunch of Triumph shit, or some other shit, or some old Chopper shit. And you had to go to swap meets, and you had to seek it out. And then getting the knowledge was almost like getting arcane knowledge. Like you had to find a motherfucker that could teach you shit. Like it wasn't like I could go on YouTube and be like, how do I fucking put this carburetor together? How do I put this, you know, how do I put this fucking transmission together? How do I weld on this hardtail? Like there's a video for everything now. You know, trust everything you see on YouTube, because you get a lot of meatballs giving you bad advice. But you know, if you do research, you can find pretty much anything. But it was, and this is like the old guy talking, but to me it was cooler back then, because I feel like anything you work for, you appreciate more than anything that's just fucking given to you. So it was like, man, I've been looking for this Ed Roth fucking air scoop forever. It literally took me like 6 years to find an original Ed Roth bird deflector. And I go and I fucking love it. And I'll never buy that. But you know, but it was shit like that. Where now it's a lot easier. Oh, I want an original Warboard trail light. Like you can just fucking go on eBay and find a repop of one. But like if you wanted one back 15, 20 years ago, you're going to spend $400 on it and hope it wasn't cracked. You know what I mean? So it was cool. But that's how punk rock was. You had to seek it out. You had to know, like you had to meet somebody, you had to trade for shit. Like, and I feel when some of that element goes away, it lets a lot more wishy-washy motherfuckers come in, because it's easy. And that's right. Like when I came up, it was cool. Like you could have handshake agreements with dudes, and by and large, you weren't going to get burnt. Like people were still like about it. Like it was cool, and it wasn't as infiltrated like with like, I don't know, like a fucking people that were just using it because it's trendy or cool or hipstery or something. Like that wasn't around. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, there was a bunch of graybeards and like young idiots that were just like, they were stoked that there was young kids getting into it. You know what I mean? But they wouldn't just give shit to you. You had to earn it. Like, yo, you want this? Like, fucking prove that you're worthy. You know what I mean? And that was cool. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, and I feel like that element's missing nowadays a little bit, and it lets. I mean,
it is, isn't it? And the thing is with it, like, is obviously because like now, like now, for example, now you're coming around to be the dude that taught you. But obviously, the thing is like everyone's got a base, whether it be a really high understanding or a lower understanding of social media. So you guys, the guys that are now left to carry the torch on with the original stuff, you're seeing that the younger people are either trying to take advantage of it for a monetary gain or just to look cool, you
Yeah.
know. But it's like me, so like I'm obviously like I'm in my early 30s, but even though I'm like nearly 20 years younger, I'm I grew up on the older generation stuff, you know. I mean, I grew up in Spain, and like, so for example, I never had internet at home until I was 18. So I never had broadband until 2010, you know. So
Yeah.
like my first bike I built was a 1983 Suzuki 125 two-stroke with my dad. I could only get parts from, so Suzuki in Spain had never seen my bike. They never sold that model in Spain, and I could only get parts from Holland, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And okay, yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to order online from Holland, but eBay wasn't a thing in Spain, you know. It was just wasn't a thing. So I had a similar, and my dad's like 65 years old, so he grew up like 60s, 70s, you know. He grew up
Mm.
old school, and I remember having to polishing my casings on my bike, having to do them by hand, and like my dad did his front end on his bike with machines. And so I'm basically where I'm kind of going with it is I think even though I'm early 30s, I still think that I kind of grew up on the
Mm.
old morals of like having to learn the hard way, you know, and like
Yeah.
making
Oh,
something out of nothing.
and you said you did a stint with tattooing, bro. There is nowhere where that's more fucking evident right now than in fucking tattooing, dude. It's like wild, like
Yeah.
tattooing. The culture of tattooing and doing a proper apprenticeship and learning the art and the trade and the skill, that's completely fucking diminished. Now that's a whole different podcast, but
It is
I,
a different. It is, and it's a weird one because so obviously, like I said earlier, I'm technically I'm a scratcher, but like to be honest, some of the biggest icons in the world started off in the same place. I
yeah,
mean,
no,
you know,
you taught yourself.
obviously going on Amazon and watching Tattoo Nation with
But here's
Tom
the difference
with Ed
before,
Hart.
before you go. But here's the difference. Everyone starts out that way. Like everyone's gonna be a scratcher at some point. But
Yeah,
if you're just resigned to it and that's where you want to stay, that's different than like you are on like a journey you want to learn. Like you said, you worked your way
yeah,
to get into a shop.
yeah.
And then
Got
once you're
into
in
a
the shop,
shop.
I'm sure
Yeah,
you're picking up shit. Like as long as you are like staying open and staying
yeah.
humble and still trying to learn,
Exactly,
like,
exactly. And
that's all it is, you know?
I mean, for me with the tattoo scene, so like I'm a bit like I respect both sides of the coin. So like
Yeah.
obviously my first ever machines were coils, and
Yeah.
anyone that's worked with a coil machine will know and will vouch better than me that just to tune a coil machine is an art form on its own.
Yeah.
Without even putting it to a skin, to tune a coil machine, to get it to work, to get it to hum, to get it to hear it as it hits the sweet
Like
spot in the
tuning the
skin.
carburetor, bro. Like, you know, it's like tuning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like I truly do appreciate the new machines. But
Yeah.
like where I feel that the scene's gone, I think it's incredible what people are able to achieve on skin. I just think it's a shame that people aren't paying dues where dues are due to
Yeah.
where it come from. You know, there's
Yeah.
so many people that are killing it in black and gray that don't even know where black and gray started off.
No,
You
no,
know,
it's
and
like
it's a
and it's
shame.
like anything, man. If you're gonna get into something, learn the history of it and like give it the proper respect. But again, that's a symptom like what happened in the 2000s with the TV shows for motorcycles. That happened with with the tattoos, like the tattoo world. All these fucking tattoo shows, and then now you got all these people that are just fucking lazy fucks, and they're like, "Oh, I can be a tattoo artist and just sit in a room and fucking draw on people all day," but they didn't have a passion for it. They're like, "Oh, this
No,
is something I'll pick up, or this is something I'll do." Like, bro, when like I said, I'm not a tattoo artist, but I've been involved in the tattoo industry for a few decades, and like a lot of my best friends are fucking tattoo artists. And when they apprenticed, they had to learn how to make needles still. You know what I
yeah,
mean? No one knows how to make a needle anymore. Like,
I,
so
I don't. No, no.
no, but it's crazy, right? But it's like that was part of the apprenticeship. You were making needles for the fucking dude you were working for. Like, but guess what? Like, if some shit went down tomorrow and every cartridge company or every needle company went out of business, these dudes could still tattoo. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And that's the difference. And that's the same thing where like, you know, like with the motorcycle shit, like, like if you do all the shit yourself, you know how to do it. You don't have to rely on anyone, because that's the worst part. And it's like, I have good people that we sub shit out to. Like I don't do powder coating, but I got a good powder coater. But if I didn't have a good powder coater, that's something that could fucking hem you up. You know what I mean? But very rarely does everyone do every single thing on a bike, but you do as much as you can. But I'm not going to set up a powder coat room. You know what I mean? Like, I have no desire.
No,
coating,
here's a prime example. Yeah, exactly. And there's a prime example with how big the scenes change. I mean, mainly we spoke about Triumph. So like, you take a new Triumph now, just try and change the speedo on it and then start the bike up. It won't start.
Yeah.
You take a new, you'll notice, you take a new Triumph, you take the speedo off it, the camber system that's talking to the key is in the rev gauge. That's just a prime example. It
was all over to me when I had to buy a fucking computer to work on fucking Harleys. Like, I was like, you know what I mean? Because same thing with Harley, like any new shit, like you got to flash the ECMs, you got to fucking do this and that, and fucking diag, you got to fucking run all these codes and fucking. Whereas you get on the panhead and you're like, oh, the fucking, you need a new your carb stock, your float stock. You know what I mean? It's way easier, but you got to adapt to the game and keep in it, like you said, like got to change what you do so that you can still do the shit you love,
Well, that's it, and I think
there's even more motherfuckers showing up right now. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know. Can you hear the bikes? Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear them now.
The fuck is going on, man? Like, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to fuck up your podcast.
No, man. It's the downside. The downside of being a respectable shop, innit? Like, people are gonna. He's got it. He's got the parts we need, or he can do the job we need doing, innit? But that's cool though. It's definitely cool to know that, there's no other way to prove that obviously you're a respected shop, because people are turning up on a Sunday, it's
day off, but someone's actually in the back.
Oh shit. Yeah.
You might hear a little click fucking in a second. Yeah. But
you have to go and sort some business out. Get out of my fucking yard, man.
Yeah.
But
I don't think anyone was supposed to be dropping off today. That's the
thing.
Yeah.
Well, if you just make sure the audio's off, so we haven't got any evidence of anything going down. Just fucking shut that shit down and sort business out, man.
Yeah. It's one of the benefits of being in a liberated colony, right, buddy? Like fucking,
you can defend yourself. Yeah. Yeah, we're not allowed, mate. We say boo to a ghost, man, and it's fucking. I mean, over here, you got people that will break into your house, and if you, I could be wrong in this, but I'm sure someone has said to me that if someone breaks in your house and you go downstairs to defend your house, you can get prosecuted differently to if they come up the stairs.
That's wild. It's getting there in some of the states here, but it's not that wild yet. Like there's a lot of states that still have they call it stand your ground rule, like where if someone breaks in your house, you can do whatever. But there's a lot of states now where something happens, someone breaks in your house and you handle it, you can get sued or get arrested.
It's crazy, isn't it?
That's wild.
Crazy.
That's wild.
But that's normal here.
Yeah.
That's normal. That's normal here. So like, if someone's trying to break into your workshop and you've got a fragile, like an asbestos roof or something like that, and you don't have a sign saying that it's a fragile roof, they can sue you for it. I mean, sorry, my bad. Do you know what I mean? Oh, mate, it's crazy. It's
well, they said we'll stay out of politics and shit.
Stay out of politics, man. So what got you? Obviously, being that we go back to the like going from the British bikes to Harleys, like, was it always the fact that you always loved Harleys and they would just out your price range, or that you just all of a sudden started? You had the, I know you said obviously you built a Harley once the money was there, but did you always want to go into Harleys, or?
So, yes and no. All right. I will freely admit that I also do a lot of things out of spite or to just like as a fucking jab. So like at the time, like no one gave a fuck about Triumphs. So I gave a fuck about Triumphs, right? Like, and like I would like goad people like because you'd go like it's like the story you said about your bike. You pulled up next to that dude. I'd bring my Triumph and I'd park it next to this fucking $65,000 fucking abomination. People would look at my bike and I'd be like, yo, I got like $2,000 into this motherfucker. What's up? Right. But it was just kind of like, because like anything, like I grew up punk rock, like so I'm just fucking anti whatever, dude. Like, I'm an anti-social dude. But I always loved. My problem in life is that I wish I could be like a blank guy. Like even with cars, like I'm not a Mopar guy or a Chevy guy or a Ford guy. I like everything. And so and with Harleys, it's like I like panheads, I like shovel heads, I like knuckleheads, I like Evos, I like twin cams for shit. Like, you know what I mean? And and that's not popular, but I appreciate different things for different reasons. So at the first it was money, but it was also like a fucking jab and like a little fuck you. But it was also what I could afford. So I built with what I could afford. And then down the road I had more money and like a Harley for me, because like I said, I'm not a small dude, like Harley just like I feel more comfortable on it. Like it feel better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But excuse me, a lot of beers here. But yeah, no, so it was never like it was like never anything. It was just like, it's
I mean, like I feel like, for example, like how you describe your world of like middle finger to society. I think that like I'll never get to experience that truly because the power of the internet, and at the end of the day, somewhat outlaw rebel to society shit is cool shit. I mean, that's why like my name 666 Customs. As a matter of fact, my son asked me earlier, Dad, why did you put 666 Customs? And I was like, well, 666 obviously being the number of the devil. It's not that I worship the devil. It's the fact that 99.9% of the people don't like that. It's kind of my little bit to the whole, like yourself. I mean, I love the tattoo world for what it used to be, like the rebel outlaw, like rebel to society shit, and I think that it's a shame that by getting fully inked up now you're no longer that guy. I mean, I refuse to be the guy that blasts my face to kind of, I got no point to prove, I already know that I'm not like not like most people, like yourself.
But that hits an important point, man. And that's what I think I was saying in a roundabout way, but you said it more succinctly. You said it better. What I used to love about these worlds were that like the dudes that were on choppers 20, 30 years ago were dudes that were on choppers for a reason. It wasn't cool. Like, you know what I mean? Before the TV shows, and I'm not talking about like the Bourget $65,000 fucking wide tire fucking abortions. I'm talking about like a dude on a panhead chopper in 1998 was probably like a dude that you were like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, was a fucking get down motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a dude in I remember the first dude I ever know with a throat tattoo or a neck tattoo in the late 80s. That motherfucker was like someone you're like, that's a real dude.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit.
Now the first tattoo a kid gets is their fucking hands and fucking face. So it doesn't mean what it does. Yeah. But what I liked about it was like that was our thing because it wasn't cool and it was outside society. It was like outlaw shit, not in the way like a outlaw club or anything.
No, you mean, no, exactly.
But it was cool because by and large, obviously there's always been shitheads around or like scummy dudes or whatever. But by and large, those motherfuckers were people that I could identify with. So now I get mad because I'm like, I can't tell anymore. I'm like, this dude a real dude or is this just some fucking dude that's like, this is the cool shit? And I'm like, with the tattoos, I'm like, I don't care because I'm going to see you in a couple months and I'm going to get a lot of money to laser that shit off your fucking face, dude. You look like you got your squibbles and your fucking ice cream cones and hashtags or whatever the fuck you got on your face. I'm going to take that off when you try and get a regular job. But like dudes that I know, the first dudes I know with like neck and throat tattoos, those dudes are lifer dudes. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, one of my friends, I tattooed one of my friends. I've done a few on him, and he originally wanted a turbo on his hand. And I said to him, look, he already told me, he said, I haven't got a tattoo. And I was like, you don't understand. I said, once you get your hands done, I said, it's a lifestyle commitment. And he couldn't click it. And I'm like, look, it doesn't matter that tattoos are now more accepted. I said, the fact is it still is people that are going to look at you differently. I said, so when you get your hands tattooed and your fingers, I said, whether you think you're ready for it or not, you need to understand that you're not hiding them tattoos, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for me, like the only place I don't want to get tattooed is my face, but the only reason I'm not covered is because they're not cheap, you know. But
Right.
like all of my left arm here, this is all freehand Sharpie penned on. There's no stencils. There was no. I mean, I got this stuff done 10 years ago. Like, you know, this was literally. I walked into my tattooist and I was like, look, I've come to you because I know that you're the guy that's going to do the style I want, and this is what I want: old school rock and roll. Nod to, so I got pistons in here. I got a
Yeah.
skull. You know, like
Yeah.
my pocket. I got on my pocket watch. I've got. You won't be able to see it, but I got in the middle here. I got a question mark. Not only is it a question mark, it's Indian Larry's logo.
Okay,
You know,
cool.
so like
You should have
the
Bobby
meaning.
on the show. Bobby's a cool motherfucker, man.
The closest I've had Terry from Lethal Threat. I've been lucky enough to have Terry that owns Lethal Threat clothing brand on as well, and he obviously knew Larry as well.
Yeah.
But like kind of where I was going with it.
Bobby's running it now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but yeah. Well,
or Kino or someone.
I know. So I know Ollie from that does the podcast Ride Choppers or Die.
Yeah.
He was supposed to have Paul on his podcast, and obviously, again, I'm trying not to. I don't want to be known
you gotta
as,
coordinate. Yeah, I mean that's
you know what I mean.
Because out here we like, and just on the East Coast, I got the dudes from Low Life Chopper podcast a little up north, and we got
cool
Crazy
dudes as well.
Gentlemen right down the road, and so like we all do the same thing too, like because it's like the world's small, like. The thing that with mine is like I can just branch out and do some punk rock shit, or I do some like weird fucking alien, fucking paranormal cult stuff or something.
Yeah,
but
man,
like,
I've seen some stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm interested in all kinds of, and it's weird because when I do the alien shit or like weird shit, those are the ones that resonate the most. People are like, dude, do more of that shit. Like I get the punk rock dudes and the motorcycle dudes being like, do more of the weird shit. And I'm like, yeah, dude, all right, you know?
Yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, tomorrow's podcast is with a guy that that he's a you know, he writes his own music, more in the rap world, and so I'm kind of doing the same. What I do, even though it's called the Let's Talk Motorcycle podcast, when I have people on that we're not talking about motorcycle stuff, I just alter the screen. So like where it will be, you won't see the word Let's Talk Motorcycle podcast. It will just be the two screens.
Yeah.
You know, so I just take off that bit at the bottom, even though it's still called, the title is Let's Talk Motorcycles podcast. But I've had people on, you know, that obviously it's about the tattoo world. I mean, I was lucky enough to interview a guy that runs a Instagram beard page, you know, that he's killing it. Like he's got thousands of. So I probably like, for me, I want to talk to anyone that's truly passionate about the custom culture. You know, I mean,
whatever that custom culture is, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I get hyped in the fact I've never been to America. Like, and even though this internet stuff is normal now, like it truly excites me knowing that I'm sat talking to someone that's sat in Boston. You know, like I think it's fucking, or you know,
dude, it's how fucking weird is it? Like now, so like I'm old enough where like I grew up without internet, without this shit, and it's like I'm talking to some motherfucker in England. And I'm looking at him. I'm looking at you right now, and it's like it's instant. This shit's fucking magic, bro.
It's insane,
and you can't ever forget that. Like, don't, because if you forget that, you just take it for granted. But it's like
you lose the magic.
Even a fucking phone, dude, is still like a cell phone. I remember when cell phones just came out, and it was like a novelty to have one, and it was like wild. It's like, yo, I can talk to anybody from anywhere. It's fucking wild. Like it changes the like. The way society functions, you know what I mean? It's fucking bananas, dude.
And do you know what? And do you know what's crazy? Like, is even though, so from the age of 9, I moved to Spain. Obviously, I learned a different language. But even though it's only a 3-hour flight, which I know that you guys have a 3-hour flight just to another state, but basically where I'm heading with this is like, kind of in the evolution of technology, I would say that like Spain is definitely behind England. You know, because the climate supports an actual normal living life, like outside of the household, you know, like people want to socialize because
it's beautiful. Go outside, fucking hang out.
You know what I mean? And because I grew up in that type of world, through what I would say is the key parts of my life, like from 9 years old to I was 19, I think that it kind of shaped the fact that like a lot of people that know me a long time have said like, oh, Josh, you know, you're a younger guy with an old man's head. You know, I look at like dignity and morals and self-respect is like out the window, man. I mean, this is a conversation I was having with my kids earlier. I said to them, I was like, look, you know, I can't teach you education because I suck at education, but I can definitely embed in you dignity, self-respect, and morals, and this is why, like, do you know what I mean? This is why, like, for example, where I am trying to learn the modern world with technology and social media is if I can show them like this is my 40th episode and I don't get massive numbers. But what I do have is I have consistency and this desire to continue. And it's really important that I show my kids this because I'm like, look, you know, I don't know how to edit the best videos or I don't have, you know, but what I have is I have the desire to want to continue because I want to turn this into a business. Like I don't want to monetize the podcast, but I want to build a platform around it that enables me to somewhat. So like, as a matter of fact, your Truth podcast website, I screenshot that website because when I get my website built, I really liked the way your website was built. I liked it. I think to be able to build a website that kind of I felt that your website kind of, it showed a bit of the old rebelliousness in the graphics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
I think that's cool. Like I
shout
think
out to my man John Stairs who does a lot of my graphic stuff with me.
Yeah.
The best thing is like I got dudes like you got to have a team around you, right? Like at my shop, I got my boy Ryan, that's like my right hand man who works with me as a tech, and I got Chris, and I got another Ryan that just started on that's helping me with the front and the parts and stuff. And you have a tight team. And then at the tattoo shop, I got my brother Dan and Wayne and Jen working there, and even my bar. Like, you know, you have good people around you, but like John does a lot of my graphics, but like if I need a design drawn or something, like I can talk to Dan, the tattoo artist, and I just tell him what's in my head. I can't draw for shit. Like that's why I can trace. That's why I can laser, right? But in laser tattoo removal is basically TIG welding on skin. Like I do the movements of like I'm doing like TIG welding, but I get it. It's a little more than that, but
no.
Yeah,
I get it.
But like having people that like know your vision and know what you do, and it's like I tried doing my website, like and just John helped me out because he knows graphics better. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have a vision for something, and like I'm like, you should see when I draw it, like I drew the logo, I'm like, do it like this. And then it looks like a fucking 3-year-old drew it. But then it looks like when they're done, it looks fucking great. So you know what you're good at, what you're not, and have people around that you can work with that can handle the other shit. And that's what's important, because doing this podcast shit, like trying to do it all yourself is fucking bananas, dude. Like, and I do most of it, but John helps me with graphics. But you know, I'm at a point where I need someone, you know, like I don't know how to explain, but like, you know how like Joe Rogan, do you ever listen to the Joe Rogan one?
Yeah, man.
You've got that dude Jamie that works with. I need a fucking Jamie. I need a dude that's gonna help me with like just doing shit, like, or helping edit the video, because I want to take it to another level. I'm lucky in that mine right out of the gate, like started getting numbers that put it right in the top like 20% of podcasts. And on Spotify, it's like I don't even know how or why, but it's in the top 5% most subscribed to and most shared. I'm like, I don't fucking know. You know, because it's like literally, if you can see, I'm at my shop on like a fucking fold-out table with a couple of microphones, and that's where I do the podcast. Like, it's fucking bananas to me. And like, but what I'm saying is, it's like important, like, to have a team around you that can help you with the shit that aren't your strong points, because it's trying to do everything yourself. You know, like, and I got a couple hustles. Like I said, I got the bike shop, I got the podcast, I got a bar with me and my boy Packer on a bar together, and the tattoo shop. Like, because you can't survive off just one anymore. It's the economy's so fucked up. But yeah, that's the only way I can do shit, is like having good team of people around you that are trustworthy and are good at what they do. You know.
Yeah, man. I mean,
but
that's it, innit? I mean, like for me, like I got one of my really close friends. He does the stencils for me, so he cuts everything out. then I do all the weaving and I put the shirts together myself because
Yeah.
like I'm really, like I say, I got a family to support and I'm the only one providing at the moment. So it's and obviously the cost of living is so high, but like I don't get the big numbers, and I mean I'm trying, I'm really trying, and obviously I think like what you said earlier, like that, I mean I don't think like you won't realize how much that meant to hear like the fact that like I've already surpassed a lot of people not giving up. I mean, there are days where I'm like, fucking hell, like, like right now, according to my screen, we only have one person watching live. I mean, it picks up after when it's obviously saved online. People will engage in it, and then I'll
There's
upload
a
it to
couple people
Spotify.
that left comments earlier. Shout out to
Yeah,
Southwest Person.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like, but I'll just carry on because I just think that if all I have to offer is persistence and the fact that people are willing to sit and listen to me drain on, I just keep telling myself that I must be doing something right,
Plus, also like live is a weird one, right? Because live is better when you already have like an established, like when you have a good solid audience.
Yeah.
Like if I went live right now, I don't know how many people would be, but
Oh, you'd probably get loads, man.
but you're also on a Sunday afternoon, dude. People are out doing shit, man. You know what I mean? I know it's
Yeah,
late
yeah.
where you are because there's a time difference, but it's Sunday afternoon. Motherfuckers are out. This is the middle of the day. That's why, like, I
Yeah.
wasn't like fucking around with you when you were like, "Can you do it?"
No,
Like,
I know.
I was like, "Let me see, man," because I had to move a bunch of shit around to make sure I could do it because there's no days off for me. Like I work 7 days a week. So I was like,
and to be honest, like obviously being that I don't know about you, I mean, do you mainly just interview people in America? I know you've had a few on from different places, haven't you? But
yeah, I mean, for the most part, I had someone in Canada. I've had Europeans on, but when they've been over here, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I haven't done one. Yeah, I haven't done one overseas. I don't think. I'm
I mean,
trying. I'm like 120 episodes in. And so I'm at the point
what
now where
got
it's like, I can't think of
we
them
kind
all.
of we kind of like jumped past that, like we got on the bikes with a bit about, but what got you
It's
into
called Let's Talk
podcasting?
Motorcycles, dude. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, but what got you into into podcasting though?
So, um, so to be honest, it was I blame my friend Ian McFarland, who he's a documentary movie maker, but he used to be the bass player in a band called Blood for Blood, which was like a big Boston hardcore band. He's like, dude, you should do a podcast. And I was like, I don't know. This was some years ago. I thought a podcast was like one person, like sitting down and like ranting for an hour. I was like, I can't do that, dude. Like I'll get in trouble if I do that because I'm just gonna talk some shit. Like, and but I don't have it that in me to just talk for an hour. Like I'm not that full of myself where I think I have that much important shit to say for an hour, So I was like, I can't do that. And then I finally started listening to some podcasts and I was like, oh shit, like, no, I can do that. I could do interviews and shit. And I know a lot of good like people that are interesting, and I have a lot of friends in different worlds that would be good to have on. And I have a background in anthropology, so I was doing for that. I have to do interviews all the time with people, so I don't have any like fear of interviewing people or talking. And that's why even to this day, like I don't. It sounds like I'm not being lazy, but I don't prepare for podcasts because I know enough from my training doing anthropology and shit. Like I know how to ask questions or how to talk to people, how to keep it going. And I like to approach it, even when it's someone that's been a friend of mine for 10, 15 years. My favorite part of podcasts is having a lifelong friend on and learning new shit about them. You go in there assuming you know nothing and you just ask basic questions that are just grounded in like natural curiosity.
Yeah.
And then you just go like I never know how long. I have podcasts that go for an hour, and I have some that go for 3 hours. I never know how long it's going to go.
Yeah, my last one was 2.5 hours long. So like this is really interesting for me to ask you, is because obviously you've done a lot more than me. Do you find that you learn more about yourself by listening back to yourself when you've had to edit them or anything like that? Have you? I mean, I've got a lot of that shit going on, man. The amount of shit that I've learned about myself, I'm like, really? I'm like,
full disclosure. Full disclosure, I very rarely listen to them.
I don't listen to them properly. I just listen to little bits, you know, like when I pull a reel, when you create a reel.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, yeah, exactly. Or
yeah,
I listen when I don't ever edit them. One, because I'm not an audio editor, and two,
yeah,
it's like I like it being raw. Like, and I tell people
yeah,
ahead of time, if you say some shit, unless you really, really, really need me to go back and edit it out, like I'm not gonna edit shit out. So just
no, yeah,
you know,
just bear in
be
mind what
aware
you're
of that,
saying.
right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm not an audio guy, and I'm fucking busy. So,
yeah,
but long story short, I know on my podcast because so when I do upload it and I'm going through and like piecing, like putting the intro in or putting at the end of my podcast is a little bomb drop to like signify that it's the end. I put that in. I'll listen to bits of it along the way just to make sure the audio is good and not fucked up.
yeah, yeah,
And I hate listening to myself because I know I do a lot of ums and ahs and shit like that, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? But so
yeah.
I can't listen to myself so no, I don't learn a lot about myself. I just learn a lot about my friends. You know?
No, I mean, what I mean by it is like I catch little bits and like obviously like similar like yourself, you're pulling it off to put it on a fucking ready to put it on spot. So I use CapCut just to pull the audio, and like yourself, I don't edit it; it goes straight up. Um, but like when I do catch bits
Yeah,
of
because
it,
this is
I'm
live.
like,
There's nothing you can do to edit.
do you know what
I mean,
do
you
you know
could
what I
edit it
mean?
afterwards, like, but
I
like,
can, yeah. See, I don't even edit. I don't even edit it for Spotify. So
yeah,
if I know, for example, there's a section where the internet's dropped out, or like, do you know what I mean? There's a bit that's clearly nothing on it. I'll only pull that bit out.
yeah,
Um, but like I just think I don't know, man. It's I had an episode where I got talking about when I lost one of my friends, you know, in a bike accident, and like I'm looking back, seeing so like I don't always necessarily look at the screen. I kind of
yeah,
might just look down and like I don't look at the camera. But like
yeah. I
this,
don't. This is the first like video one I'm doing. I'm looking at your picture on here. I don't know where to look. If I
yeah,
look
yeah.
at the
So you're
camera,
not,
it's right there, but I'm looking at you like right there. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. So the same like, but like where I'm heading with that is like I wanted to get that clip. I went on there and I wanted to and the reason why I wanted to get that clip, I didn't deliberately get my bit. It's just that the guy I interviewed lost a friend,
yeah,
and it was like an important part of his story. And obviously, then I'm talking about my part, and then I got to see like the way I was behaving, and it was like fuck. It was almost like I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird, man.
yeah.
And I mean, you probably get this more than where you were a lot more episodes. But how isn't it crazy how many people after sit there and go, do you know what? That's fucking insane. Like, thank you so much. Like, I didn't realize I achieved that shit. You know,
Oh
because you're
yeah,
so
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, no, like people always take shit away from it because when you're doing a podcast, it's like two dudes talking shit, or and I don't say dudes. I mean, it could be girls to gals,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, no, yeah,
But it's two people talking, and I always take it as like if me and you were in a van and we were driving to a bike show or a music show, this is the shit we'd be talking about,
yeah,
and it's just a conversation. But it's not. It's also outside of the normal realm of conversation. So it is kind of like an interview. So it's not normal. So you do go through a line of questioning that you might not in a normal conversation.
yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. So it's
No, no, I get it.
conversational,
I
but it's
get it.
also an interview. It's
Yeah,
not a normal in regular life conversation. So it does get a little more pointed at times, and it does cause people to reflect on things that they might not
yeah,
have before, or think
yeah.
about things in a certain way. So yeah, and so to answer your question, yeah, I'm sure I've taken some stuff away from it. I can't think of anything off the top of my head,
No,
but
no, no.
I got to take another pause for 1 second. I need you to fill. I've gone through 5 beers right now, so I need to take a fucking piss break. And I apologize to the one guy that's watching live. We're gonna do this. You can cut this out in post.
No,
It's Spotify. I'll
yeah,
be like,
it's cool, man. It's cool. I say when you gotta go, you gotta go. And yeah, do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's. I mean, like for anyone that is watching, whoever is watching, thanks for sticking around. And what is so cool about it, you know, is you can sit and talk to someone and almost feel like you've known them a few years. You know, it's. I think when you got the chance to speak to like-minded people and hear their stories, it's cool as hell. It's definitely it's definitely a humbling experience, and yeah, it's cool. It is cool.
All right, man. Sorry about that.
No,
I,
it's just saying, like,
I slammed an energy drink before, about a half hour before we were on, because I hadn't had any caffeine today, and now I'm like 5 beers in. So nature called.
I did one not that long ago, and it got to the end, and all of a sudden I was like really needed to go. See, I can't evacuate my corner. I got my table wedged like right in. You know,
You're
it's
gonna
like
have to do what the truckers do and get that like a piss jug
sit
right under
there,
the
like,
table.
but no, man, it's like I say, it's cool to sit and like. Do you ever feel like when you've interviewed someone that you've never met until you've interviewed them, do you almost feel like you've known them a while when you've
Yeah,
when
and
you
I've
got
actually, because so 120 episodes, I'm literally gonna say 105 of them are people that were already friends, right?
wow,
Maybe 10 or 15 that I didn't know ahead of time. And even with those people, like I had a guy, Matthew Roberts, right? This is one of my weirder ones, and he's an author. He used to be an ex U.S. Naval intelligence officer, and he was aboard the USS Roosevelt when they filmed some of the UFO footage,
wow,
gimbal footage, and he ended up writing a book because he had a whole string of things where he was being fucked with by what's called, doesn't know if it's an alien or some kind of non-human intelligence. But this dude was like a valid dude. Like he's like naval intelligence guy.
Mm.
I didn't know him. He wrote a book and I had him on the podcast. And now he's on, I think it was Steven Spielberg just made a Netflix series about, I think it's called Encounters, which is about UFO people who've had UFO encounters, and he's like one of the main dudes on that. But we've
wow,
remained friends and we talk every now and then, or things
yeah,
like that. So like,
yeah.
it's weird because you do get some kind of bond. You just had like a weird 1 to 3 hour conversation with somebody else. If you've never met someone before, what is it usually, like 5-10 minutes? Hey, what's up? Or you're sitting at a bar, it's like a couple minutes,
Yeah,
surface level stuff. Like you just dug in deep with people. But one thing I did learn, and this is for real, and this is a weird thing, and this hit me hard. And you talked about loss and stuff, but one of my best friends in the world, like I'm 52 now, but my best friend since 6th grade, since we were like, 13 years old. Actually, no, earlier than that. 6th grade is like 11. He passed away 2 years ago, and
man.
I do this. Yeah, it is what it is. But he owned the tattoo shop with me. We were partners in the tattoo shop. He was a tattoo artist, and I was doing the removal. But long and short of it, so we also do this other type of podcast a couple times a year, and it's called an M4, where it's a round table where me and like 3 friends sit around and just get fucking hammered and talk shit. Cool. Whether it's about motorcycles or music or movies or anything. And he was on the first 1 or 2 of those, and then he passed away. And a dude I know in upstate New York hit me up. He's like, "Bro, you doing all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why? What's up?" He's like, "I noticed that if I listen to the M4 podcast, like the early ones with Ryan, you are way more happy. Like you have a whole darker tone now." And he's like, "I'm just checking in on you." I was like, "Bro, like I can't believe I'm getting like a fucking health and wellness fucking check right now, right?" But so yeah, I learned something. I'm like, "Yeah, man, I must be still like fucking processing shit or not fucking fully correct."
And do you know what? Do you know what that's like? If you think about
crazy that some dude who listens to the podcast picked that shit up. I'm like, bro, like that motherfucker just told me some shit that I don't even fucking know, and then it makes sense.
This is, and that's it. And like this is how like powerful it is. Like the fact that like I said to you, like you learn something. I'm not saying like all of a sudden I discovered something in myself. Yeah. What I'm saying is like I learned. I like just like you ignore certain things. Or they don't seem blatant to you, and the fact that like I said that to you, and obviously you've gone out, you went to the toilet, and obviously and all of a sudden it gets something triggered, and then you tell it. So where I mean, I'm sure to explain this, but like the fact is, it got you thinking.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and I think, I mean, you'll have this a lot more than me. Like, I don't think people realize that when you put your face on a camera and you, whether it be you're just talking motorcycles or you're talking
This is
whatever,
a face for radio, for podcast, not for video. That's why I don't do video on mine.
mate, beard envy. As soon as I saw your face, I was like, look at that.
This gray
look
is
at that.
gray, I can't see this gray streak is envious.
Oh, yeah. mate, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Like we grow beards to think we're impressing our women. The fact is, most of our women hate them, and it's other blokes that go, "Fucking hell, that's a cool beard." You know, it's like weird shit. But yeah, man, it's like, I think that you get people reach out to you and want to tell you their story, even if it's just in a private message. Like, we unknowingly all of a sudden become someone that people want to talk to, whether it be, I don't know. I'm not saying that we're like fucking superheroes or anything like that, because we're not, like, or heroes or anything. But I'm saying that, like, and you've probably had this a lot more than me. Like, you do get people that, like, at the end of the day, if you've gone through some dark shit, I don't know about you, but I can't sit down and talk to a clean shaven dude in a suit that read a book and thinks he's experienced life. No. I can sit and talk with somebody like yourself, you know. It's, and I think that all of a sudden we get that. I mean, I've already, in my short journey so far on social media in this respect, that I've had a couple of people DM me and go, "Do you know what, this has happened?" And I'm like, wow, like, fuck, like, you know,
it's wild. And it's wild too. Like, I'll be somewhere out of state at a show or something, and someone will come up and be like, "Dude, I love your podcast. You Truth?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how do you know, dude?" Because I don't, like I said, I don't do video yet. Like,
it happened to me last week.
I'm like,
mate, it happened. It happened to me. I was sat, like I said, when I went out with my friend on the bikes, you know, and I'm sat in this other bike cafe, and this guy's staring at me. I'm thinking, what the fuck, you know? And all of a sudden, there's that I'm like, what the fuck's that? Why is this guy staring at me? You know? And he goes, "You Josh from 666?" I was like, "Oh shit, yeah."
I
was like, you know,
it's wild.
I'm thinking, it's crazy, isn't it? But mate, no, it is crazy. So what you, anyway, but let's get back to bikes a bit before I let you get off. What are you riding now?
I just picked up a 69 generator shovel.
Nice.
I have my 56 pan shovel, where it's a pan head bottom end with a shovel top end. The 69 is a true generator shovel. I have a 57 pan head trike. I have a Lowrider ST as like a commuter.
Right. It's like a bit more modern.
Yeah, it's a commuter. What the story with that is, I bought a Pan America because I live outside of Boston now. I live 40 miles outside of the city, in a town called Freetown, where the shop is, and it's the woods. It's quiet. It's the woods. And so I bought the Pan America so I could have an off-road bike, because we have the Freetown Forest, which is right up the road, which is like a 20,000 acre forest with a lot of trails. And mine I bought it the first year it came out, and it had a lot of problems. I had computer problems, and this goes back to when during the COVID lockdowns, and so there was a shortage of like computer chips and stuff. So Harley wasn't trying to even fuck around. So I traded that in with 400 miles on it and got the Lowrider ST. But also, going back to the podcast, when you asked like what made me start the podcast, my buddy said it, and then it was COVID, and I was like, all right, fucking people are around, got nothing to do. I can get at everybody right now. Like, everyone wants to come on a pod. It's harder to do now than it was during COVID. I had motherfuckers lined up, and now I'm like, my schedule's so weird, and everyone I know that's on the podcast, is schedule so crazy. It's been hard. I've gone to bi-weekly instead of every week, because I just can't do it every week anymore. But also, I have a S&S knucklehead chopper that I got off my brother Lars from the band Rancid. I traded him a Triumph Cafe Racer for his knucklehead chopper, but it's not a true Harley knucklehead. It's an S&S knucklehead.
Now, is that? I mean, I don't. So I've never. My old man has a Harley. I now, personally, I think maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but wouldn't an S&S be more reliable? than a genuine. And
Yeah,
and second
I call
question,
the S&S knucklehead, I call it a highway knucklehead because
right?
you can rip 80, 90 on the highway and not have to worry about it. Whereas I have plenty of friends that have legitimate Harley knuckleheads, and
Yeah,
they're good, they're awesome, they're
but like,
beautiful bikes, but like
so,
it, when those
but the
bikes
SNS isn't as respected as much, is it? I mean,
no,
for
it's
me,
not.
I don't give a so like for
It
me,
looks
I
like
don't
it.
care. You know
It
what I
looks
mean?
beautiful, and I can rip around 90 miles an hour and not worry about it. Yeah, but I've been gone through it. Like I don't give a fuck. Like
No,
I
I
want to
don't.
be able to rip around. Like
Yeah,
some people are concerned about that. Like, oh no, it's gonna be all legit Harley. I'm like, all right, I got my 69. You know what I mean? Or
yeah,
I got my 56, or I got my 57. That's a
yeah,
legitimate Harley shit.
yeah.
Um, the knucklehead, like, I'm not gonna buy a fucking $40,000 knucklehead and worry about it breaking down and then having to fix it and spend mad money on fucking replacement parts. Like, I just don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool and I love it. And if you were one of the people that were lucky, like I remember knuckleheads were like $3,000 because no one fucking gave a fuck about them. Like when I first
Yeah.
was coming around, I just didn't have $3,000. Like I wish I did at that time. That's better investments. That's like Bitcoin
Yeah.
level investment. You know what I
Fucking
mean?
hell, yeah,
Um,
man. Yeah.
but yeah, like I have friends that were lucky enough to have extra money back then and bought a bunch up, and like now you can sell that motor for 18,000. You know what I mean? That you
Crazy.
spent $3,000 on it.
It's crazy.
But
So what
yeah, so they're not as respected. But guess what? Like
I don't give it, mate. I'd have one.
race me on your 47, bro. Let's race. Like
Let's
like
go. Yeah,
I'll see you later. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Where are you?
that said, an original fucking knucklehead is a thing of fucking beauty and a fucking thing of majesty. It's a majestic fucking bike. I at this point, like I get such little time to ride that I just want to fucking ride my shit. I don't want to fix it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I built probably well over 100 fucking custom motorcycles. I don't like, if I get a minute, I want to ride my shit. Like, I don't want to build shit for me anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I don't want to fuck around. Like, I also have a night train, an 04 night train.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And but what I'm mostly riding is like the Lowrider ST, you know what I mean? Like it's fucking jump around. The 69 I plan to ride a lot this summer, in the knucklehead chopper I plan to ride around a lot this summer. The trike is fun, but it's gnarly. It's like that's like you go for a beer run or something because you can put a bunch of shit. It's got a big beer barrel in the back, and
yeah. I don't like trikes, man. My old man likes trikes. I just I don't. I
this
think
is like a legit 70s Survivor trike. I'll send you a picture later. You'll get
that'd be
it.
cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's got like Ron Finch stagecoach taillights.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah, man.
Like a beer barrel for the rear seat with like all kinds of shit engraved in it. And it's
almost like a nod to like the Daddy Roth style. The fucking
yeah. It's definitely wild 70s style.
Sick, man.
It's a throwback. My buddy bought it because it originally had a knucklehead in it, and he bought it to pull the knucklehead out. And then I bought the rolling chassis off him, and I had a 57 panhead chassis powertrain. That engine, transmission, and primary that we threw in it, and then but it's fun to ride around, but it's work, like because it's a long girder and it's like good. I got good upper body strength because holding it up is fucking crazy. Yeah.
Fucking. So another one for you. What's the best looking Harley lump engine for you? Like only to look at. We're not about reliability, anything. Like if you had to pick one just to put on a shelf, what would you have?
The best looking Harley engine to me is either a knucklehead or a panhead. The best looking frame is a flathead frame, like the nice curved.
Yeah.
I would hang one of those up. You can't see it here, but there's a 41 right over there that we're restoring for a guy, building it so he can doing the race of gentlemen. But yeah, I think the knucklehead and panheads are beautiful engines.
Do you know, for me, and I know it's probably
honestly my favorite engine for riding, I don't know why, I like pan shovels. Like I like the panhead bottom end with the kidney cover and the shovel head top end. Like I like that too. I don't like, remember what I said earlier? I have a problem limiting myself to one thing. That's
no. So like for me, one of the best. I love the look of the Ironhead.
There you go.
I love the look of the Ironhead, and like I think I love the reason why I like the barrels is they kind of have a bit of a nod to the shovel, and
Yeah.
then I like the narrow bottom end on them. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that skinny. So I even like the sports. I mean, like I said, I'm only talking as someone that's looking at it. Like I've never ridden a Harley. My old man won't let me anywhere near his Harley because I've told him that if I ever got my hands on it, everything that's chrome's going to the powder coaters, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" I just hate chrome. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
I fucking
Yeah. Yeah.
hate
Same.
chrome.
You're wrong. Yeah. Right.
But but
I get it. I like chrome on like a show bike, like when it's done well, like you know what I mean. But like most of my riders are all black and blacked out and shit. You know,
yeah, man.
or
Yeah,
polished.
no, that's it. And it's but see, and that's one thing like you were saying about lowbrows, like the fact that they're killing it in the respect of like the do it yourself back the kits for the sportsters. You know, it's
Oh yeah,
fucking
yeah,
insane what they're doing.
yeah. No, and it's fucking rad because Tyler is a really good dude. That the dude that started it, that gives a shit. Like I known him like since before he even started Lowbrow. We met on a Triumph Chopper message board. That's like early days of the internet, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll show you a thing later. It's not suitable for viewing on the thing, but I have an old. We used to do a split postcard where it was a Chopperhead ad on one side and a Lowbrow ad on the other, and like he put them in
Oh,
his
cool,
orders,
man.
I put them in my orders. Um, and you know they're responsible for keeping a lot of shit going, man. You know what I mean? And like, he's got a lot of good people that work for him. You know what I mean? And shout out to Mikey Revolt and all them. We do their show Fuel in Cleveland all the time. I've done
Oh,
them
that's
all
cool.
except for one we missed last year. That was the first one I ever missed.
That's cool.
I'm bringing that knucklehead this year. Um, but yeah,
See,
man.
I'm hoping to get like get this, like I said earlier, like with the idea of me building a business around the podcast is like I'm hoping to build a successful website that I can actually turn into a form of business, you know, where do you know what I mean? I can get like people to advertise on my site. I can do a classified ads and motorcycle news around the world. Do you know what I mean? Like all relevant
Kind of like a
social.
Chop Cult, like how Chop Cult does it, but
Yeah,
do it for
yeah,
Europe.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, to connect the whole world, like obviously, one thing already, my 40 episodes, like I've been so lucky that I've kept in contact with a few people from the podcast, and like I have their numbers, and they'll WhatsApp call me, you know, on my phone, and we'll sit and talk for half an hour, and they send me pictures of what they're building. So I also upload. I have a section on my page called the Followers Build, so I just try to keep people's builds on social media. You know, like I'm like,
Yeah,
look, send
yeah,
me any picture you want to send me, and like a brief. This week I've sandblasted this or whatever. I said it doesn't matter. I said if you want to send me a picture of it, I'll get it up on the page. And then I wanted to kind of make it a bit more of a serious thing where I was lucky to get a beard product company to I wouldn't say they're not sponsoring it because I don't gain anything financially, but I wanted it to appear more serious to people because I think that if you're going to the effort of building something and you're willing to send me your pictures, like I believe that you deserve a bit more of a serious feel to it, you know,
yeah.
and so that's kind of what I want to do. I've got a dream of the idea in my head is that you go onto my website and they can find links to your podcast. They can find links to your website on there, you know, anything and they can just find links to everybody, to everything,
Yeah, yeah.
because you know this better than me. Like the true people in this scene, like we just want to help each other, you know, and
Well,
I
that's
believe
why you
I'm
said,
part
"Hey,
of the scene.
come on." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I don't. It's cool." Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's you know, and that's it. So I think like I'm hoping to stage where I can start to travel the world and hopefully like I'll be able to get to America and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know pop in and say hello to you and then
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean, like I've
Well,
interviewed like
I'm easy, man. Like the Boston, there's a lot of direct flights from London to Boston because it's the closest points. You know what I mean?
that's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is so Boston's not. I'm not. Pardon my. I'm
It's
not.
a shorter flight from me to London than it is from me to California, I think, or it's about the same.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Boston's near. Is it? I'm sorry, mate. I'm not very good with all this geography shit. Is it near New York?
3 hours drive. 3 hours
Right.
drive.
Yeah, because the accent's similar.
3 to 3.5. Yeah.
Yeah, you got
East Coast.
similar.
East Coast. Yeah, Northeast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love like the accent, man. Almost like that old fucking school like gangster type twang.
Well,
You know,
that's
I fucking love that shit.
yeah. Well, that's a lot of the when you see old gangster movies. A lot of that's like Chicago. That's a little Midwesty, but yeah, man, fucking. It's crazy that the world's so big, but now the world's so small too. Like, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like you're in your house, right? Like in the corner of your living
Yeah.
room. I'm at my shop, fucking magic's going on. I can see you. You can see me. Like this shit would be like witchcraft, like fucking 100 years ago. You know what I mean? It's fucking wild.
Mate, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how.
yeah.
Not even that long ago, really. You know.
It's like when you were a kid and you would see like science fiction shit. Like we're living in that time now, man.
Yeah, man.
We just
Yeah.
don't have all the cool shit. Like,
And do
some
you
of
know
that-
what? Do you know
Go
what
ahead.
it's like? Like obviously you do like your conspiracy podcasts and stuff like that. With the not so much conspiracy like UFO things. Like I'm a massive
Paranormal shit, yeah.
paranormal. Like I'm a
believe
massive
me, bro,
fan of.
my tinfoil hat is fucking massive. So you want to talk conspiracy shit? I can talk about that shit all day too.
Mate, the thing is though, it's like, I mean, I'm a massive movie buff. Like I love like a lot of the Marvel stuff and the site. But kind of what my point to this is, right, is what, let's just say that somebody in a different world, different universe, gave us a group of people that was gonna like pre-warn us of shit, like, but they didn't realize that by putting it in a movie, that to people it would be like make believe. But like, I mean, like you've only got to look at like fucking Terminator, AI, robotics wanted to take down the world, and look where we are now. You know what I mean? Like
so many people that are legitimate scientists in the AI field admit they go, this could go wrong.
it could, and
if
it's
it goes
the
wrong,
arrogance of
like,
mankind.
They might just say we're
Mate.
not really necessary, and it's a big gamble, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
100%, mate.
And that's not even conspiracy. That's like, just look it up. Like,
that's
involved in AI, like, this could go wrong at any time. And I'm like, then why are you fucking around with it, dude? What the fuck is going on? Is it that fucking worth it? So people can make fucking little anime portraits of themselves? Like, fucking relax.
100%, man. It's the arrogance of mankind believing they're still in control. It's arrogance. It's arrogance.
Imagine being in school right now where you can just go on ChatGPT and say, give me a 30-page paper on the fucking history of fucking Rome. And it does it.
Mate,
and you go in
I've only just started.
Spelling errors in it, so it looks like it was you that did it. But
dude, I've only just started. I mean, like for me, obviously, the fact that I'm trying to build a website that people want to engage with, I'm having to look into the basics of it. I don't want to look into it where it's clearly taken over by robots, but like kind of like how you said earlier, being a one-man guy trying to do podcasts and everything, there are AI websites that I'm not on it yet, just because it costs a lot of money to use them. But there is an AI website that I can upload this whole episode to and ask it to create me 50 clips for reels, and it'll bang, 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 and it'll take all the statistics of most engaging reels and create me them. Like, and obviously as a one-man show, like I'm at some point going to need that. However, I mean, the good thing is that what we're doing is still real shit. It's not fucked around with technology. Like, people can't interrupt our conversation. Obviously they can maybe not let other people watch it, but me and you can still have this conversation, you know?
Yeah. It might just not show up high in the algorithm, right? But it's wild. Like, isn't that one of the hardest parts? Like, for me, like, if I make a little clip from a podcast to post, I'm like, it's hard finding, like, and making the clip. Like, I wish I could farm that out to AI. But doing your website, like, just go to like Wix or something, dude, and it's just drag and drop shit. You can put a site together real easy, man.
But the thing I don't know about is what is it called? The SEO, like the search engine optimization.
Yeah,
like,
just to get you higher up in the ranking. But you know what I guess does that? And this is what I've been looking into. And this is probably boring to people that are going to be listening, but they say if you publish the transcripts of all your episodes, that will push you up in SEO, because it's like fucking, all right, if we just talked for an hour and 33 minutes, right? How many fucking keywords are in that, dude? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, it's just going to push you up. I don't do transcripts of my podcasts.
I don't even know what that is, mate. I don't even know what that is.
A transcript, like everything we said gets typed
Oh,
out.
right. Okay.
Right? And if you post that on your website, it gets people to your website because everything we talked about turns into keywords.
So you would put it underneath the episode?
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I don't do it, but they're saying that's the type of shit you need to do. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's like SEO shit. 'Cause all it is search engine optimization. So anyone looking for a motorcycle podcast finds yours. Like, and you go up in the ranks, which will happen naturally with time. But if you want it to go quicker, there's ways to do all that shit. But there's people that's their full-time job. Like, they understand all that shit way more than you or I would.
Yeah, so I've got a guy that similar to you. Like, I've got a guy that's going to do it. It's just a matter of me saving up the money to do it. You know, it's because obviously you just have to. I mean, like, I've noticed that as obviously I'm slow. I'm moving in the right direction slowly, but like I'm getting invited to shows and things, and it's like, do you know what? It's awesome, but like financially, I can't afford to fucking rent a van to fill it full of bikes and like you know, cool shit. Like, I mean, it's a great. It's
Europe, right,
mate? Fucking hell. I mean, I don't know in pounds. Like the average. So for a liter of diesel, it's like £1.55 to £1.60, depending where you are. You know, I don't know what that is in American currency, but in dollars. But
I don't know what liter is to gallon.
Oh, you do gallons, yeah. You guys got
like, and it's like $3 a gallon out here, $3 to $3.50 a gallon.
Yes,
I think a gallon's more than a liter though. But your pound is worth more than $1, right? Or
not by much now though. Apparently, I don't think there's much
on that shit.
Used to be good at one point, man, for sure. But
you guys got all that fucking shit going on with your Royals. It's devaluing. It's devaluing the pound, man. Devaluing the sterling.
Mate, I think
I'm just fucking around.
No. But you know what's really cool though, man? Is like ignorance is bliss. Like I don't understand any of it. Like it's not. I left. I only did 4 years schooling in the UK, so history of the UK, and I'm not really into it all.
So do you identify more with Spanish than English?
I mean, what's crazy is I've now officially spent more time in the UK, but like I don't. Spain's where I grew up. Like all my school friends are Spanish. I love the Mediterranean way.
What's wild is that I know there's a dude out here that's Irish from Ireland, but he lives in Boston. Well, he lives in Massachusetts. He lives on the Cape, but he has property in Spain. And he's like, dude, you have to buy something in Spain. He goes, dude,
Spain's
so fucking rad. He goes, the people are cool. It's like, there's so many good fucking places for motorcycling. He's like, dude,
insane, mate.
Buy a place in Spain. This is an Irish dude. So it's funny that you were saying that. You know what I mean?
Like my sister's still there. She's been there 24 years now. I mean, so I grew up on the Costa del Sol, which is literally right at the bottom. So on a good day, depending what the weather was like, I could see the street lights of Tangier in Morocco. So in South what I love so much about it, man, is that like, especially the South, it offers you whatever you want. Whether you want the party life, it offers you that. Whether you want the mountain roads to chop it up on your bike, it offers you that. You know, 4 hours that way, you're in Portugal. Less than 3 hours that way, you're in Africa. Less than 3 hours that way, you're snowboard. You know, you go from living in the hottest region of Spain, which averagely has 320 days of sunshine and average temperature of 24, 25 degrees. But yet in the winter, in less than 4 hours, you're snowboarding, you know?
Yeah, it's wild, man.
It just offers you everything.
I follow this website called Cheap Old Houses, and they do Europe. And there's all these houses in Spain that are so cheap. And they're like these stucco houses, like built into like a hill or something.
Cave houses, mate.
Cave houses, houses. Dude. You get them for like $100,000, dude. And I'm like, but it's like down there, like where you're saying on like southern, where you're almost like in Morocco and shit. And I'm like,
man. I mean, a lot of the cave houses are like in Alicante, so they're like the to the side of Andalusia, so they're still in the same region. They're about 3 hours from where I used to live, 2.5, 3 hour drive. But they stay the same temperature all year. It's like 25 degrees on average all year round. But No, mate, it's insane. I mean, you should definitely get over there if you get the chance, even just to visit it, you know. And the bike scene is the Spanish love bikes, man. They love racing, they love choppers.
Yeah, I just heard that they're like the people in general are fucking cool out there.
Mediterranean people are just I think that like there's less money, in my opinion. Like there's less money to be earned, but like obviously money interferes in the way of life, doesn't it? You know, it's you can just have, I don't know. I mean, the customizing laws are hard in Spain though. You can't just chop a frame up. So like how you built the Triumphs, you can't just do that. You can't take a soft tail and turn it into a hard tail. You're not allowed to. So, but hey, if that's the price you got to pay to ride 365
I'll bring the
days.
lowrider ST out there, and I'll leave the choppers here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to get back there. I'm hoping to move back. Now with Brexit, I can't. It's crazy because now I can't just go and live back there.
Yeah.
Which is
fucking wild,
crazy.
Dude. The world's a fucking weird and wacky place right now, dude. I feel like this year some shit's gonna pop off. And I don't know what it is or what it's gonna be, but it's a fucking wacky year, dude. But bro, I don't mean to cut, but it's almost 5 years. I got someplace I gotta go, so I'm gonna
get on, man. No, thank you. Mate.
Definitely, I'm gonna have you on mine down the road. Like, let's give it a little space in between the episodes.
Yeah. We'll give it a few months,
we'll
man.
Talk about European motorcycling, but
I'll get some. I'll pre-plan it and try and get some key. You know, I don't want to just waffle on my opinion. I'll actually do some research, and I'm like, right,
fine, man. We do it just like this, dude. We just fly by the seat of our pants. It'll come out.
That'd be cool. Maybe by then you've got your video podcast established.
Yeah. I won't just be all old school and audio. I'll do some.
No, mate. But if audio's the way, that's cool. Maybe I'll have to fucking
me so far. Like I said, this is a face for radio, not a face for video. You know what I'm saying?
Man, but I like to say you're killing it in what you're doing, man. I mean, the way you do your podcast is very literally. You can tell it's raw. Like your podcast, your audio form is just.
All I wanted was it to sound good, because I hated when I first started. There was still a lot of podcasts that sounded like they were recorded in like wind tunnels and fucking all fucked up. I was like, I just want my shit to sound fucking legit, because if I'm gonna take someone's time out of their day to come on my podcast, I want it to be fucking a good fucking product. Like, I don't want it to come on and then like, because there were so many podcasts that I really wanted to listen to that had people on it, and I'm like, this shit is unlistenable, bro. Like, you're recording this shit in a fucking pizza shop in Brooklyn on a windy fucking day and the door's open. Like, what the fuck is going on? I can't hear anything. And I just didn't want shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted it to sound legit.
Well, that's why, dude, and that's why I'm surprised that people still come on mine, because like my microphone is like, I stole it from my son's gaming setup. It's not even an expensive one. My camera's cheap as hell, and like, so I know that
the one that's on my computer, it's not even like a real camera. It's the one on the iMac.
Yeah, man. But I mean, the audio is like, so like listening to it through my headphone, like your audio right now sounds exactly the same to me, in my opinion, to what your audio sounds like on your podcast. So obviously Mac stuff's really cool in it, but so like I know like so like when I listen to like your podcast and I listen to like Ollie from Ride Choppers or Die and like a couple of the other cool ones that are in America as well, like I just listen to what you guys are doing. I'm like, right, I know, I kind of know where I have to go. Like I know I have to improve on the audio quality. No,
it sounds good. Doesn't sound
what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, anyway, mate, I'm gonna let you get off. Otherwise, I'll just keep you here for ages. Thanks again, dude. I really appreciate that.
We'll do it again. We'll do it again. You come on mine, and then we'll do something else.
Awesome. So obviously, you have your website before you go. Anyone wants so
chopahead.com, spelled CHOPPAHEAD.com, or bigtruthpodcast.com, and Instagram is @chopahead and @bigtruth. That's it. Easy to find.
Awesome. Clean, simple, and to the point. That's cool.
Yeah, man. Well,
thanks again, dude.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
The old